Hey, how's it going, guys? It's Scarecrow, and welcome back to another episode of Black Ops 3 In Depth. Today we're going to be examining the M1911, the newer pistol added into Black Ops 3 on July the 11th, 2017, and this truly is a unique and interesting pistol, not for the fact that it is in itself visually unique and different from all the other pistols in Black Ops 3, with it being more of a classic and older style pistol, but it's also reflected in its damage profile, and it has some interesting different dual wielding stats as well, which is why there will be a separate part to the video dedicated solely to the dual wielding. So if you enjoy dual wielding the M1911, you've noticed it performs slightly differently compared to the standard M1911, then there is actually stats backing up your claims. Now, I was not lucky enough to unlock the M1911, unfortunately, as is the way in Black Ops 3, so once again I was forced to use an account of a friend of mine. A huge thanks to Anarchy for allowing me to use his account for the day, and it was so much fun to use this pistol. It really was. And while it really does suck that I can't use my own account to get the feel for these weapons and the gameplay for these weapons, it is really awesome that I have friends that are willing to allow me to use their accounts and ruin their stats with these in-depth, so I really do appreciate it. Now, I'm going to ask you guys to bear with me a little bit here because some of the stats are a little conflicting and a little interesting. So I'm going to do my best to make them coherent and make sense, basically. Alright guys, so this is an amendment to the original video. The original video I uploaded yesterday, and there were some inconsistencies and there were some mistakes, and I will fully acknowledge that. I did mention in the original video there was some inconsistency with the stats and some conflicting stuff that didn't make a little bit of sense, but you guys pointed out a few things, so I went back and I looked at it again and I fixed it for you guys. So if you're wondering why this has popped up in your feed again, it's because there was some errors in the original that I needed to amend. The M1911 will deal 50 damage, dropping down to 40 damage, dropping down to 29 damage, dropping down to 22 damage, which is a bit of a mouthful there. It's quite a bit of a damage profile. That does mean it has a 2-shot kill range, so it is a 2 to 6 shot kill. And this is where the gun stats kind of fail me. This is where the charts really fail me, because according to the stat charts for the M1911, it doesn't have a 2-shot kill range, but that being said, apparently it does 50 damage, so you guys will see why there was some confusion. So I'm going to say that the gun does have a 2-hit kill range, but it's basically barrel stuffing. I can't give you guys range, which is really annoying, but at the same time I can say that it will kill in 2 shots, just basically at barrel stuffing range, and that's all I can tell you about it. The rest of the ranges do hold up, so I'm adding this in post. The rest of the original video does hold up, but at the same time I can't be confident in giving you guys a number for the 2-shot kill range. It also shows in the flavor text for the pistol as well. If you look at the description of the pistol, it will say a high damage with a low magazine capacity, and that is true. That's kind of like the balancing factor of the weapon. But as for the range of the pistol, the 3-shot range is quite short at 8 meters, the 4-shot range is extended to 16 meters, and the 5-shot range is all the way out at 27 meters. So the ranges on this pistol aren't too bad, considering that it's a sidearm and a secondary. It does have some weaker ranges than a few of the other pistols, I will admit, but that in itself isn't enough to really discourage me from using this pistol. The headshot multiplier is 1.1x, so pretty much useless at all ranges. It doesn't really help that much to get the headshots, unfortunately, with the pistol. It'd be really nice to have a weapon in Black Ops 3 that, without high caliber, it's essential to get headshots. Like, it'd help like one less bullet to kill or something like that, but I haven't run across any, or at least of the newer DLC weapons, that do that. Now, the unique thing of the weapon is that it says in the game stats, and according to the Marvel 4 code that he provided, that it has a rate of fire of 625 rounds per minute, but I swear this pistol has an uncapped fire rate, because it feels like you could spam the absolute heck out of this thing, and everyone that I've talked to that says that it has an uncapped fire rate. So if you have a devil trigger finger and some ungodly accuracy, then this pistol will work amazing for you. There are moments where I've been able to open up the fire rate and just mow people down with what feels like a fully automatic pistol. So I'm not 100% sure or certain of this in-game stat, but from what I can tell, the fire rate is high enough on this pistol that it just outshines nearly everything else in the game when it comes to a trigger finger. It has a reload speed of 1.6 seconds and a magazine capacity of 7 rounds, which is bumped up to 14 rounds with extended mags. And I am going to say that it does need extended mags. That's one of the things I'm always going to recommend on this pistol. 7 rounds is not enough to use this pistol effectively. I would always recommend it extended or fast mags, preferably extended, because the reload time on this pistol is quite fast at 1.6 seconds, so I never found myself really needing fast mags. It has a sprint out time of 0.25 seconds, which is same as most of the other pistols, and an ADS time of 0.1 seconds, which means it aims down sight ridiculously quick, same as all of the other pistols really. When it comes to reaction times and just pure speed, pistols are going to beat any other gun in the game, hands down. It's ridiculously quick. If you want to be reacting quickly and you like having a fast trigger finger, I can already recommend this pistol to you. It has standard hip fire spread, there's nothing too special there as well, and the recoil is actually low. I'm going to call the recoil low. I never had any troubles with the recoil really. It was more a matter of my own accuracy and trying to be as accurate as I could with the weapon. I was never fighting the recoil to stay on target, and the iron sights work well with the gun. They're quite confined and skinny, but I never found myself doing too bad with them, although surprisingly, I'm actually going to recommend an ELO on this gun, which is weird because on all of the other pistols in the game, I'm not going to recommend an ELO because it really seems to bump up the recoil, or at least you can kind of see how much the gun actually kicks, whereas this, there's no real kick there, so I actually would recommend an ELO on this if you're going to use it as a primary, which I'm guessing a lot of you guys are if you've unlocked the M1911. That's kind of the attraction of the weapon, is you want to be kind of having fun with the weapon, and so you're probably going to be using it as a primary. Alright, so now we're going to move on to the dual wield stats because they are slightly different in terms of damage and range, which is weird because none of the other pistols in the game have separate dual wielding stats. When the M1911 is dual wielded, it'll deal 49 damage, dropping down to 29 damage, dropping down to 22 damage, dropping down to 19 damage, which means that it is a 3 to 6 shot kill compared to the standard M1911, which I guess is a balancing factor because up close you'd be basically shotgunning people with this pistol with the fire rate and stuff like that, so it's not possible for it to get a 2-shot kill, but it can get a 3-shot kill, so I guess that's a pretty good balancing factor for the dual wields of the M1911. The 3-shot range is 7 meters, the 4-shot range is 15 meters, and the 5-shot range is 19 meters compared to the 8 meters, 16 meters, and 27 meters of the default pistol. So the range is considerably less when you dual wield the pistol, and the damage is weaker, not that it really counts because it's still a 3 to 6 shot kill, but at the same time, I guess this is kind of meant to be a bit of a balancing factor to tone down the range a little bit when you're dual wielding, because the hip fire on it isn't god tier, but I found myself having quite a lot of fun with the dual wields. I tried it out for a game or two, and I was hitting some pretty longer range shots, so I guess this is meant to be a balancing factor. I just wanted to point out again, this is the only pistol in the game that changes stats when you dual wield the weapon. As for some classes I'm going to recommend with this gun, I'm going to recommend 2 classes. I'm going to recommend extended mags and high caliber just as your default class. This is how I just ran the pistol normally. Extended mags just to bump up that magazine to 14 because 7 bullets is just not enough, man, in any circumstances. And high caliber just because I like having high caliber on pistols just to help out with that extra 1 less shot to kill. And it's just really satisfying landing a headshot with this pistol. And for the second class, it's basically the same thing, but I'm going to recommend an ELO. Like I said before, I really like an ELO or a sight on this pistol, and I don't know why. It just works really well for me, and I like that I can pick off targets at longer ranges with it, because the iron sights do suffer at longer ranges being so confined. As for what I think about this pistol, I think it's hands down the best secondary in the game in terms of fire rate, in terms of damage and stuff like that. Overall, I think it suffers a little bit because of the magazine. If you're not using this gun as a primary and it's just a secondary, it will suffer because it needs extended mags. If you're running around with this gun as a primary, you're doing fine because you've got attachments on it, you're fully aware of what you're using. Whereas just as a default secondary, I think the MR6 just passes it out, and even the RK5 too, in terms of reliability. Probably even the LCAR too, although it does win some points for style. The aesthetic for the weapon is really, really good and is a genuine pleasure to use. So if you do get this gun in your armory, if you do unlock it, then count yourself lucky that you got a gem of a classic weapon. So anyway, guys, that's going to wrap it up for this in depth. If you guys are curious about the stats and you'd like to see where I get my information from, then the link to the Den Curious Forums and Marble 4's stat page is always in the description below for you guys to check out. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you have enjoyed, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe for more, and I shall see you, beautiful people, in the next video.